think the importance is at the moment, entities could select who they wanted to assist with supplier development and enterprise development. The fund's intention is to consolidate everyone's contributions, and I'm not sure if that's going to entirely take the whole stake or a portion. I think that's still up for discussion, and we'll have to just track it to again assist a bigger amount towards qualifying beneficiaries or a more consolidated approach. So the repercussions or unintended consequences is you've got a whole lot of programs that you've built up over years and individuals that are being assisted that suddenly can find that the funds are no longer being made available to them. 100% concern. I think it's a concern just because it's an unknown for companies to plan on. So you sit a little bit in limbo while these are happening. And at the same time, it's a concern for the entities that are reliant on assistance to be able to sustain their business and their employees. Okay, so let's start with the DTIC fund that they're proposing is specifically around enterprise and supplier development. Just as a quick overview in terms of what that entails, it's about assisting Black-owned companies that are between the 10 and 50 million, well, let's say under 50 million, to be in a better financial position, either by grants, loans, investments, etc. And the difference between the two is that supply development is for a Black-owned business that is in your supply chain under the 50 million mark, whereas enterprise development is somebody that is not in the supply chain, so helping an external company. With the fund, if it is to be implemented, we're not sure in terms of how they'll split the percentages. Because enterprise and supply development is measured annually, the suggestion is to continue with the programs as they currently are, while keeping track and speaking to experts like the consultants on what updates are in there, and then at the same time also just make sure about your contract durations. So you don't want to have an extended offering to an entity and then be caught on the back end of changing legislation. That being in mind, I think it is important to still carry out obviously the best you can for individuals, but just watch in terms of how long your contracts are for. Looking at changes in legislation is, I feel that it will go again in terms of becoming stricter in terms of targets to really drive transformation. Specifically, we've seen on the employment equity side that it's driving on the management control side. So definitely, I think if anything, it'll become more stringent. Some codes like the transport code hasn't been amended. So we're also waiting to see how that legislation will look. Again, legislation takes time to implement. It's not an immediate effect. You generally get a draft. Once the draft's out, it goes to public comment, and only then it gets implemented. Some legislation gives you some sort of grace period before it gets implemented, some not. So the second part, if I heard you correctly, was how do you prepare for that? And that's again around ideally engaging either B consultants, or there are memberships like the Association of B Professionals that has workshops that can also keep you up to date. Relate specifically to groups, if I understood you correctly, and you can have subsidiaries that offer very different services. So whenever you get a combination of sectors that you could fit into, it's important again to go back and consider where's the majority of the revenue obtained from, and that'll help you determine which code and to keep tracking that. So just keep an eye on it if you're doing a group rating. If it's the individual entities lying under a group that need to go through their own B scorecard, remember they're not going to look at the group together like that. They're going to look at the specific entity and where the majority of their revenue is from to be able to implement. So I think it's difficult to get a policy that fits all businesses. Each business is unique in terms of their services and offering. I think from a policy perspective is to continuously review what's working and not working from feedback from stakeholders and different industry experts, and adjust in terms of what they're seeing not working. I'd ideally like to see more focus on assisting new businesses and job creation, but yeah, that's just a personal view. The second part, just on policies as a whole, is legislation can only go so far. So it is important that whoever's implementing the legislation keeps that inclusion component in mind and really wants to drive transformation. Again, something that we always suggest to our clients is transformation, very important, but it's also got to make business sense. So you want to tie the two worlds in terms of what does your business need and transformation together to get sustainable solutions going forward. I don't know if legislation will push to those specific problems directly. I think it comes down to when clients when an entity, gets pressured by anyone procuring from them to improve their level, that sometimes they maybe don't have a long duration of time or feel pressured and then start implementing things that doesn't really drive transformation. As we said again, is rather be upfront with the client, either yourself or engage an expert to draft a strategy for over time how to improve that, but rather play open cards and take shortcuts whenever you implement B-BBEE. So I think specifically on helping smaller businesses, it's to get engaged with them and actually follow them on their journey. So identifying suppliers that will become crucial to you in terms of your business imperative, while at the same time offering them mentorship, training programs, anything that can put them in a better position to have longevity in terms of the service offering and expand their services. So I would say procurement teams that offer these SMEs longer terms in terms of procuring from them while also assisting them from a mentorship side, and possibly every now and then doing checks with these individuals on what are the requirements for the business and how it's doing. In the industry, I think maybe a part that we see is funds are deployed with good intentions, but the tracking becomes just as important. So did your initiative actually help the entity in the way that you foresaw? And is there something that you could maybe change going forward that would help the business even more?